Hello. Okay, so here is Leviticus 2, the grain offering. We just learned about the burnt offering. And this is a whole few chapters on offerings to the Lord. The grain offering. When someone brings a grain offering to the Lord, it is to be of fine flour. It is to pour oil on it and put incense on it, and take it to Aaron's sons and priests. And the priests shall take a handful of fine flour and oil, together with all the incense, and burn this as a memorial portion on the altar, an offering made by fire, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. The rest of the grain offering belongs to Aaron and his sons. It is a most holy part of the offerings made to the Lord by fire. If you bring a grain offering baked in the oven, it is to consist of fine flour, cakes made without yeast and mixed in with oil, or wafers made without yeast and spread with oil. If your grain offering is prepared on a griddle, it is to be made of fine flour mixed with oil and without yeast. Crumble it and pour oil on it. It is a grain offering. If your grain offering is cooked in a pan, it is to be made of fine flour and oil. Bring the grain offering made of these things to the Lord. Present it to the priest, who shall take it to the altar. He shall take out the memorial portion of the grain offering and burn it on the altar as an offering made by fire, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. The rest of the grain offering belongs to Aaron and his sons. It is a most holy part of the offerings made to the Lord by fire. Every grain offering you bring to the Lord must be made without yeast, for you are not to burn any yeast or honey in an offering made to the Lord by fire. You may bring them to the Lord as an offering of the first fruits, but they are not to be offered on the altar as a pleasing aroma. Season all your grain offerings with salt. Do not leave the salt of the covenant of your God out of your grain offering. Add salt to all your offerings. If you bring a grain offering of first fruit to the Lord, offer crushed heads of new grain roasted in the fire. Put oil and incense on it. It is a grain offering, and the priest shall burn the memorial portion of the crushed grain and the oil together with all the incense as an offering made to the Lord by fire. And that's the end of the chapter 2. Now, here it's kind of made me hungry. It made me think of like baked goods. It's a grain offering, so whenever we're baking something, it's a burnt offering to the Lord. So it's giving a portion of our food to God, and yeah. It also helps establish how grain should be made and how it should be cooked and baked, right? So I'm starting to get the idea of after the burnt offering and the grain offering, it's kind of like God is in the room with you and you're leaving extra food for God and you're just burning it, the leftovers. Okay, the next one is the fellowship offering, which is